Hi, this is Devin from Soaring Eagle Data Solutions, and I'm here to talk to you about all things data. Today I'm going to specifically talk to you about data consultants versus data firms, specifically a managed services firm like ours, Soaring Eagle Data Solutions. And one of the things we see a lot in this industry, which is B2B consulting, freelance contracting, database administrators, is that a lot of, especially smaller shops, really like to use independent database consultants. And they're great. Do not get me wrong. There's a lot of really amazing freelance consultants out there. As a matter of fact, we like to hire these people when we go and do hiring because they're typically really good at a lot of things. But there are some reasons why you would and would not want to use a freelance database administrator versus a managed services provider. So let's get into that real quick. So let's start with a couple of basics. Why would you want to use one? Usually starts pretty simple. You like the guy. You met him at SQL Saturday, you met him at a networking event, maybe you went to school together. Whatever it is, they're a good person, you like working with them, you've got a good history, maybe you see them at all the networking events and they always buy you a drink. Either way, you like your freelance DBA, and that's good. One of the more common things that happens when you like your guy and you use them for so long, and obviously when I say guy or girl, there's tons of amazing DBAs of all kinds, but your guy built the system. They know it in and out because you brought them on to do the architecture, and you brought them on to do the tuning, and you brought them on to help you with the applications when the DevOps people were running into problems. And they've just been in and out so much, they're basically operating as your full-time DBA. They're basically operating like a managed services firm. But you get what's probably the biggest contender of why people want to use freelance DBAs versus a managed services firm. Their hourly is typically very, very low. They have less overhead. They don't have to do the alerting and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that comes with a lot of problems. So if the next things are concerns to you as your company gets bigger, you should start considering either bringing on a full-time DBA of your own or going to a managed services firm. So let's go into that. So the person you're using has probably done a really good job for you. Answers their phone, helps you in a pinch, drops everything to get to you, and that's great. However, at some point, anytime you only have one guy, and especially if that one guy isn't even a part of your full-time team, that is a link in the chain that could break. Let's think through logically. People who are freelance contractors will very often find a full-time job that they enjoy, and then they were not going to support their freelance clients anymore, or at least not support them as well as they did before, because now they have other priorities. So you don't really have a real on-call person. You don't really have the loyalty that you kind of think you do, because at some point that freelance contractor is going to stop working freelance. They are still a one-person link in your chain that could break for very great reasons for that person, but you still need to be worried. What if that freelance contractor goes on vacation? They're not reporting their vacation time to you. So if they're on vacation and you're trying to do a roll-up and everything goes wrong, you're out of luck. You don't have the help that you need to manage that. Let's also go into what I think is very crucial and a lot of people skip is regular database maintenance. If you don't have a full-time DBA or a managed services firm watching this, you're not doing the regular maintenance that you need on your databases. And if you're not doing performance and tuning and checking the queries and working with the DevOps and application people to make sure everything is working smoothly all the time, then you're going to have trouble hitting those 5 nines that you need to hit and maintaining that server uptime. You just will. You'll have problems with scalability, you'll have problems with users complaining about slowness, and maybe even data corruption and bad data. So those are all things that if you're doing proper data maintenance and database maintenance, you can prevent a lot of those issues. Becoming more and more prevalent are security audits, even for companies that are not in like HIPAA or GDPR related firms. They're still required to do security audits so that their clients can know that their businesses are safe. So if you're trying to pass a security audit and you've got databases without a DBA, That security officer is going to start raising red flags really, really quick. So part of what a good managed services firm is going to be doing is taking care of your security posture as well and helping you improve it so you can pass those audits and be prepared in case of a security event happening to your company. So let's talk a little bit about expertise. We've talked about security, we've talked about the performance, we've talked about the availability and making sure that you have round-the-clock support. But let's talk about expertise. Freelance consultants typically are a jack of all trades. They can do architecture, they can do tuning, they can do data warehousing, but they don't typically specify just one. So what happens is you have somebody who's good to a point, but after that they're going to start running into problems. And one of the worst things as a business owner, as an IT manager, is looking at your staff, looking at your vendor, and seeing that they're Googling the answer because they don't know it. And when you bring on a full managed services firm, you do have people who are a bit of a jack of all trades, but you also have specialists in performance and tuning, specialists in SSIS and SSRS, specialists in database warehousing, specialists in master data management and Power BI and all of the other things that your company is going to need to scale and grow. You get that because you're getting a whole team from a firm as opposed to one person who's probably a generalist. Bandwidth. Bandwidth is really, really important. And when I say that, what I mean is one person can only do so much. Even if they're amazing, but especially if they're a freelancer, what if they take on a big project for another client? Where does that leave you for the next couple of weeks when you really need to get some work done? What about your big project that they can't do at the same time? So bandwidth is a big concern because if your DBA, whether it's an in-house DBA or a freelancer like we're talking about, they need to have the time to take care of you. And that's in addition to the expertise, and that's in addition to the 24/7 emergency responses. So when you're going with a managed services firm versus an independent contractor, the things that you get are more expertise. There's more people on the job, there's more brain power that you can call in, you're just going to have more expertise. You're going to have true 24/7 service no matter what happens. If your primary DBA is on vacation, there's still 3, 4, 5, 6 people who are responding to emails, answering phone calls, taking care of alerts, doing maintenance, and generally making sure that your business is staying up and hitting those 5 nines of uptime. You get expertise, you get the alerting, and you have the satisfaction of knowing that your data is really taken care of, secured, governed, and maintained 24/7. And you just can't get that from a freelance DBA. So bottom line is, when you get to the point where you might have outgrown your DBA, or even I'll see a lot of companies will hire the freelance DBA they've been using and then still augment them with the managed services firm because they've realized that they still need more than they can get out of just the one DBA, even after they bring them on full time. So consider, is the freelance DBA doing everything that your company needs? Are you getting any kind of emergency support, any kind of emergency SLAs? And are you getting expertise in all of the areas that you need for your data environment to grow and scale with your company? Those are the biggest topics that you want to consider when you're choosing a freelance DBA versus a managed services firm. I hope this video helped you out making your decisions, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about a whole lot more stuff really soon.